Assalamu alaikum everyone. Okay, so you guys can start, and you will find a mock in the link in description. There will be a folder. I have uploaded it. Please check kar lein aap log. I'm good, alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking. Walaikum assalam. So in the last stream, everyone asked why I always ignored this question because I wasn't sure when I was going to take it. I hadn't planned it then, so I posted the schedule after I got done with the stream because I had to see my schedule for today. That's why. Okay, but there will be inshallah another one tomorrow. Okay, and expected topics की वीडियो बिल्कुल इंशाल्लाह मैंने बना दी है. ठीक है, अभी थोड़ी देर में आ जाएगी. ठीक हो गया. चलें. So you guys will find a link in the description. Before you guys start, I would really appreciate if you like the stream, if you haven't done that yet, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that either. Sir, thank you. Yes, inshallah, the aim is to hit 100K before the end of this session, if that's possible. नहीं हुआ तो कोई बात नहीं, अल्लाह की मर्जी. Yeah, please go ahead, start. Please go ahead and start. Okay, please go ahead, start the mock. Good luck to you guys. You have 2 hours, and after 2 hours at 2 p.m. to 2:15 p.m. we will discuss. So if you guys want to take a namaz break in between, just do that. Okay, be honest with yourself as to how much time you spend. So I will inshallah start the discussion at around 2:15. ठीक है, 2:15 पे हम start करेंगे. So that's it. I'll start the timer. Good luck. Here we go. अस्सलाम वालेकुम, क्या हाल है आप लोगों के? अच्छा 2 मिनट दीजिएगा, लेट मी जस्ट सेट अप अ फ्यू थिंग्स फर्स्ट, स्टार्टिंग विद द कैमरा एंगल. ओके सो बल्कि एक सेकेंड, एक चीज़ और मैं ठीक कर लूँ ज़रा जल्दी से. अच्छा, I've enabled the chat. So let me know your feedback. What are your thoughts? And by the way, जो expected topics हैं, meaning not expected topics, actually topics that haven't been tested, उसकी video आ गई है. You guys are very welcome to check it out. So yeah, just letting you guys know. ठीक है, it's not a guest paper by any means or anything of that sort. ठीक है, it's just made using data, simple as that. अच्छा एक सेकेंड यार, I'm using the wrong layout, I just realized. या अल्लाह. ओके फाइनली अब करते हैं स्टार्ट. सो लेट मी हैव अ लुक एट द चैट. क्या चल रहा है भाई यहाँ पे? इजी सर, हाउ मच टाइम शुड वी add to our meter if we did this on a tablet? देखो, I don't recommend that you do this on a tablet, okay? Do it the way that it's meant to be done. In my opinion, this mock was not that difficult. Yeah, I wouldn't kind of classify this as a very difficult mock. In fact, I would probably say this was on the easier side. ठीक है. The only question I didn't get is question number 10. Chalo, we'll see. Sir, if you found this easy, doesn't mean we're good to go. Yeah, देखो, if you find this easy, तो ठीक है. I mean, to be honest, it was not a very difficult mock. But at the same time, it was, ये ना समझें कि if you find this easy, that means no credit goes to you. Okay? Obviously, you find it easy because you're well prepared, you've done all the concepts. That's why you find it easy. Simple as that. ठीक है? Okay, so let's start. Bismillah karte hain. Yeah, I'll do another one also, inshallah. Let me know what your thoughts are, if you guys want me to do another one or not. Yeah, so this was specimen. No, this was not just specimen. This was a mixture of multiple papers. Okay, so let's start. Question number 1. Calculate 4 upon. So this is basically, here the examiner is just trying to check whether you know how to use your calculator or not. Okay, so 4 divided by square root of 0.0025. The answer is simply 80. Okay. Acha. Then the question says work out 40% of 530. So 40% of 530. So 40% of 530, that's equal to 212. Easy. Okay. Acha. Now, work out the journey time from New York. Acha. Before that, this is part of a bus timetable from NY to R. I really don't know how to pronounce this, but here, let's just call it NY to R. Okay. So then the question says, work out the journey time from NY to Petersburg. Okay, so that means we're supposed to find out the journey time here. Now, because this is paper 2 and paper 4, that means you will be allowed to use a calculator. So there is a way to check your answer. I don't know if you guys are aware. I hope you are. I mean, I've made countless videos on it. I've mentioned it multiple times. Abhi bhi pata nahi why a lot of students just choose to be ignorant. You guys, you know what? I've been getting DMs कि सर ये asymptote क्या होता है? ठीक है, and you know when I go to their profile, so I see that they're kind of active on social media. It doesn't seem as if they just decided to get on Instagram and they decided to message me कि चलो सर से पूछते हैं what's asymptote. So I think this is voluntary ignorance. You know, you choose to be ignorant. So I really hope that's not the case with you guys, and I hope you guys are aware the way that this is done on a calculator. And why should you do this? Why should you know how to do this on a calculator? So that you can check your answer. Okay. Now, technically what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to do 1940 minus 915. Why? Because if the bus leaves New York at 9:15, it reaches Petersburg at 1940. So we're supposed to find out the time difference. Now let's subtract and find out the time difference. What do we get? 40 minus 15, what's that equal to? That's equal to 25. 19 minus 9, what's that equal to? That's equal to 10. So there you go, 1025 is the answer. Achha, how to do this in your calculator? I'll explain. There's a way that you can do this on your calculator. And what's the purpose? Who's going to tell me the purpose of doing this on the calculator? Just so that we can skip working and just write the final answer directly. Although this is 1 mark, you know, if you did this in your calculator directly, you would have gotten full marks. Even the following part, if you do this directly in your calculator, you get full marks because if for 1 mark questions, you're not supposed to show your working. So here's what we do. So we can recheck. Very good. So you can recheck and be confident that you've done it correctly. Simple as that. So what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to do 1940, so 19 hours, 40 minutes. So this is the magic key basically, okay? This key is for hours, minutes, and seconds. Okay, so when you press this once, it takes it at hours. When you press it again, it takes it as minutes. From this, from 19 hours, 40 minutes, what are we supposed to subtract? We're supposed to subtract 9 hours, 15 minutes. Now, it's a very easy question, but, you know, why not, why not use a calculator and be 100% sure that we have done it correctly? So there you go, 1025 is correct. Now, at least in the exam, I'll be confident that ये mark तो मेरा पक्का है. ठीक है, although पीछे के marks भी पक्के हैं, but you know, I'll be confident that I'm getting this mark for sure. Okay, now, then the question says, Arjun arrives at the bus station in Washington at 1:36 p.m. How long he waits for the 9:15 bus from New York to arrive? Okay. So he has arrived. The question is just trying to play games with you, honestly. Okay? The question is just trying to play games with you. So basically, Arjun has arrived at the bus station in Washington at 1:36 p.m. So one game that the question's trying to play with you, the examiner's trying to play with you, is the fact that he or she has given you all the times in 24 hours, and then all of a sudden you have a time in 12 hours. So no problem. We know how to fix this. We can just add 1200 in it, and we know that this will be equal to 1336. Okay? Now he's basically waiting for what? He's basically waiting for the 9:15 bus from New York to arrive. So when will the 9:15 bus from New York arrive at Washington? It will arrive at 15:20. Okay, so what are we going to do? So from 15:20, we will subtract 1336. Okay, from 15:20, we will subtract 1336. So let's work it out. ठीक है, I hope everybody understands. It's like आप airport पहुंच गए 1336 पे. Okay, flight ने land. अब you've gone to pick someone up, and whoever it is that's coming, it will basically land at 15:20. Now the question is, how long do you have to wait? Simple as that. Okay, so let's see how long does he have to wait. So we're going to subtract 1520. We're going to subtract 1336 from 1520. Now, because we can use a calculator, so we can do this directly in your calculator also, but you should know the method because sometimes you might have to show your working. So we can't subtract
36 from 20. So no problem. There's an easy fix for it. And that is we take 1 away from the hours and we give it in the shape of 60 minutes to minutes. That means now we're dealing with 1480. And from 1480, we're now subtracting 1336. So what's 80 minus 36? Let's work that out. 80 minus 36, that I believe is 44. So that's 44, okay? And this is 01. Now the question says, give your answer in minutes. So what's 1 hour and 44 minutes? That's basically 60 plus 44, which is equal to what? Which is equal to 104. Now, once I'm done with this, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my calculator. I'm going to check my answer. So 15 hours, 20 minutes, में से minus करते हैं 13 hours, 36 minutes. Let's see what do we get. So we get 144. That's absolutely correct. Okay. Okay. Calculate the exterior angle of a regular hexagon. Exterior angle of a regular hexagon. So hexagon means how many sides? Hexagon means 6 sides. Okay, and remember the question is asking for exterior angle. What's the formula for exterior angle? Sadly, a lot of people don't know the formula for exterior angle. It's 360 divided by n. And they take that approach where they first find each interior angle and then they subtract it from 180. I really hope that's not the case for you guys. So each exterior angle is equals to 360 upon n. So 360 divided by 6, what's that equal to? That's equal to 60 degrees. There you go. Okay, the diagram shows part of a regular hexagon and part of a regular polygon. Okay, the regular hexagon and the regular polygon are joined by a common side. Calculate the number of sides of the regular polygon. Okay, so let's call this x, okay? But what about the regular hexagon? We know what the each interior angle will be of a regular hexagon, right? So each interior angle of a regular hexagon can now be, since we've already worked out each exterior angle, that means we can now work out each interior angle by simply doing 180 minus 60. And what's that equal to? That's equal to 120 degrees. Okay, abhi check kar lete hain if the answer is 9 or not. So that means this angle is 120 degrees. Okay. Now what about the sum? X plus 100 plus 120 is equals to 360 because it's a full circle. So 360 minus 100 minus 120, that gives us 140. So 140, I think a 9-sided polygon ka angle hota hai, but let's work it out anyway. So if 140 degrees is each interior angle of the regular polygon, okay, so this is each interior angle. So the formula is n minus 2 into 180, n minus 2 into 180 upon n is equals to 140. Now let's work this out. This would be 180n minus 360 is equals to 140n. So 40n is equals to 360, 0 to 0 cancel, n is equals to 9 sides. There you go. Okay. Yeah, we could do that. Those who are saying that we could just do 360 upon 40, it's good that you guys are aware of that formula. Reason why I didn't take that approach is because I'm afraid not a lot of people would know that approach. Take care, and if I do it right now, they'll probably freak out. भाई मुझे क्या पता आप लोग इतना स्मार्ट हैं आदत नहीं है ना मुझे असल में अच्छा देखो भाई जो लीक की बातें करेगा वो सीधा हाइड हो जाएगा सिंपल एज दैट ठीक है सो अच्छा चले मैं आप लोगों को शॉर्टकट भी बता देता हूँ हियर इज द शॉर्टकट सो if each interior angle is equals to 140, that means each exterior angle is equals to 40 degrees. Okay? How is that? Basically 180 minus 140. And each exterior angle is very easy to work out. All you got to do is 360 upon n, which is equal to 40. So n is equals to 9. ठीक है तो ऐसी बात नहीं है मुझे नहीं आता है मुझे आता है ठीक है but I just didn't give it to you guys because I thought you guys would freak out or something. Yeah, worst case scenario, you guys will start cursing your teacher. Oh my God, our teacher didn't make us do this. Yeah, wo phala. Hey, anyway, so sets and Venn diagram. I believe there was no sets and Venn diagram question, so that's why here we have a sets and Venn diagram question. So set A is a set which contains x such that x is an odd number. So that means set A will have 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. B, x such that x is a multiple of 3. So 3, 6, 9, 12. Then we have list the elements of A intersection B. So A intersection B, let's make a list. So clearly there's 3 and clearly there's 9. Basically odd multiples of 3. Yeah, so that's it. 3, 9, that's the answer. Okay. Use set notation to describe the set 2, 4, 8, 10. 2, 4, 8, 10. So it's definitely not set A. Okay. And it's definitely not multiples of... So, agar hum A union B banane, if I make A union B, so that's going to be 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, 11, 12. See ya? Now, what's missing here? What's missing is basically 2 is missing, 4 is missing, 8 is missing, 10 is missing. Okay? So that means this is basically A union B, the whole thing complement. Okay? आप ये भी कर सकते हैं. You can write this as A complement intersection B complement, or you can say A union B whole complement. Both are acceptable. Okay, so you could say A union B whole complement, or you could say A complement intersection B complement. ठीक है, दोनों चलेगा. All right, write 0.0473 in standard form. Standard form. Acha, was standard form not tested in O levels as well as IGCSE? Can anyone confirm? So 3D mensuration question asked about the hemisphere. Yeah, I'm aware of that. No, it can't be A complement union B complement. That's not acceptable. अच्छा, standard form IGCSE में tested था. ठीक है. Okay, O levels में नहीं था. सही है. So we move the decimal 2 places towards the right, so it's going to be 4.73, and since we've moved it towards the right, it's going to be 10 raised to the power minus 2. So 4.73 into 10 raised to the power minus 2. Okay, now find the value of C and the value of D. The numbers in the calculations are written in standard form. Okay, so watch out for that. They are basically in standard form. So let's rearrange and divide 2.7 into 10 to the power 4 with 2.25 into 10 raised to the power minus 4. So that the result that we get can be compared with C into 10 raised to the power D, and whatever number that we have before the power of 10, that's C, and whatever power of 10 that we have, that's D. So this can be worked out using a calculator. 2.7 divided by 2.25, 2.7 divided by 2.25. So that's equal to 1.2. Into 10 raised to the power 4 minus 4, so 1.2 into 10 raised to the power 8. So this is equal to C into 10 raised to the power D. So what's C equal to? C is equal to 1.2. What's D is equal to? D is equals to 8. Are these in standard form? Yes, they are in standard form. So we're good to go. Okay, correlation. Correlation, also another topic that hasn't been tested yet. I believe it was neither in O levels nor in IGCSE. So it's easy. I mean, it can honestly be in paper 1, paper 2. It really doesn't matter. Kindly do mechanics. Yeah, I do plan on. So today we have a mechanics mock. M1 का mock है आज कितने बजे? 9:30 बजे. Okay, at 9:30 p.m. So be there. 35, 40. So 35, 40. Achha, let's read the scale. The scale is the same. Yeah, one small box equals to 1 unit. Distance on the horizontal axis, time on the vertical axis. So 35, 40, that's going to be here. Achha, then we have 20, 39. So 20, 39, just put a cross through this. 20, 39. So that's going to be here. Then we have 32, 40. So 32, 40 is going to be here. Then we have 35, 48. So 35, 48, that's going to be here. Then we have 22, 33. So 22, 33, 22, 33, that's going to be around here. Okay, then we have 39, 46. So 39, 46, 39, 46, that's going to be here. Okay, now, it's 20, 29. तो मैंने क्या mark किया? 2039 कर दिया मैंने. सही कह रहे हैं आप लोग. 2029. 2029. Here it is. ठीक है. Rest is good. 3240. Let me check. 3240 is good. 3548. That's also good. 2233. 2233. Where's 2233? 22 and 33. That's also good. 3946. 3946 is also good. Okay. Now. Now remember, we probably have to make a line of best fit. Yeah, Acha, before we make a line of best fit, remember what type of correlation is this? Ye to koi bhi dekh ke bata deta hai. This is a positive correlation. Now we have to draw a line of best fit. So remember the rules that I've given you for making a line of best fit. The rules are that imagine all these points to be inside a rectangle. Okay, there you go. Let's make a nice rectangle first. Okay, now, then your line of best fit is supposed to be inside this rectangle, and it's supposed to be dividing the data into half. Okay, it's supposed to. Scatterplot was tested? Scatterplot was tested? Are you sure? I thought it was cumulative frequency and histogram. Okay, so let's draw a line of best fit, which number one is inside this rectangle and divides the data into half, meaning that the number of points lying above is equal to the number of points lying below. So you're not supposed to have this rectangle. This is just for your understanding. It was an O level. Acha, okay. All right, now let's see if this line of best fit works. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Achha, wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it doesn't work. Thoda sa zara isko. Small adjustments needed. All right, now let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So we're good. The 2 points that the line is passing through, we're not going to count those, but the number of points lying above are equal to the number of points lying below. Both were tested. Acha chale, if it was tested, so you can ignore. Okay? So tell me, tell me everything O-level students talking to you. Statistics mein kya test hua hai? Okay, O-level students, 4024. Statistics में क्या क्या टेस्ट हुआ है? Cumulative frequency, histogram, scatter plot, pie chart, इन सब में से मुझे बताएं. O-level students, okay, not IGCSE, because I know IGCSE में क्या टेस्ट हुआ है. I'm talking about O-level students right now. Cumulative frequency, median, scatter plot, and cumulative frequency. Okay, in that case you can expect histogram. Okay, in that case you can expect histogram to be tested. Okay, now. Another person drives a distance of 30 kilometers to work, used a line of best fit to estimate how many minutes they take. Okay, so 30 kilometers to work, and we have to use our line of best fit. So as per our line of best fit, here's what it's looking like. This is 30. Okay, so as per my line of best fit, the corresponding value that I'm looking at of 30 is basically 39.5. Okay, 39.5. 39.5 minutes. 38.5, 39.5, no big deal. Okay, now graphs of inequalities. I believe graphs of inequalities wasn't tested in O-levels or IGCSE. Yeah, there's got to be a range for this. So if your answer is, let's say, in between 36 to 43. 36 to 43 acceptable hoga. Okay, 36 to 43, 44 is definitely the acceptable range. Okay. I'm not going to confirm every single value. As long as it's in this range, you're good to go. All right. Find the 3 inequalities that define the unshaded region R. Okay. So a good idea is always to first number your lines. So here's line number 1. You can do them in any order that you like, honestly. Line number 2, line number 3. Okay. Let's start with line number 1. So we need 2 points through which the line is passing. So that's -1, 0, and then there's 0, 1. we can see that the gradient is going to be 1, but let's work it out formally. 1 minus 0 over 0 minus minus 1, so 1 upon 1. So y is equals to 1x plus c. C we can just eyeball. We can see that the y-intercept is 1. Okay? Log was never part of the syllabus. If you're talking about math, if you're talking about 0580 or 4024, log's not part of your syllabus. Okay, for line number 2, once again, we need 2 points through which the line is passing. 0, 2 is 1, 4, 0 is another. This line will have a negative gradient. So 0 minus 2 over 4 minus 0. So that means minus 2 upon 4, which is equal to minus 1 upon 2. So that means the equation will be minus 1 upon 2x plus c. Now, as far as c goes, c is the point at which the line is cutting the y-axis, which we all can see is 2. So here you go. You can just eyeball the y-intercept, and there you can write it. Okay, then as far as line number 3 is concerned, there's no work that you have to do to find out the equation of line number 3. We all know that it's simply going to be x equals to minus 4. Simple as that. Okay, now let's start writing down the inequality, starting with line 1. The region that we want is above the line, so that means it's going to be greater than, and only greater than, not greater than equal to, because it's a dotted line. There you go. Then let's talk about line number 2. So the region that we want is below, so that means the region that we want is going to be the region that is lesser than, below the line, so it's lesser than, and not just lesser than or equal to. So y is lesser than or equal to minus 1 upon 2x plus 2. Then line number 3, the region that we want is on the right side, so that means it's going to be greater than and greater than or equal to, because the line is a solid line. So x is greater than or equal to minus 4. There you go. So is there a possibility of transformation not coming in P2? If there was a good detailed question on transformation, then it's definitely not going to show up in P2. No, I don't teach further math, and this is graphs of inequalities. Graphs of inequalities. Okay, now there was no question on similar triangles. I believe there was one in vectors, but not a standalone question for similar triangles, so you can expect similar triangles. I'm not too sure about 0607 syllabus. It's best that you check it out. I don't want to end up misguiding you or something like that. Okay? Beta, maine kaha na ke I don't want to see the word leak anywhere in the chat. Okay, so you don't have to clarify anyone, because if I see it again, I'll hide the person. Simple as that. Alright, हाँ ये आपने अच्छा आइडिया दिया फिर किसी की कॉल ना आ जाए. अच्छा, so the question says triangle ABC is similar to triangle PQR. The area of triangle ABC is 15 centimeters square. Alright, calculate the area of triangle PQR. So similar shapes, A1 upon A2 is equals to L1 upon L2, the whole thing square. A1 upon A2 is equals to L1 upon L2, the whole thing square. So area of this triangle is 15. The area of this triangle is unknown. Okay. So 15 upon A2 is equals to 6 upon 12, the whole thing square. So 6 ones are, 6 twos are. 2 ka square 4 hoga. When you cross multiply 4 times 15, that's equal to 60. So 60 centimeters square is your answer. Acha, part B. Part B says the triangles are the cross sections of prism who are also mathematically similar. The volume of the smaller prism is 30 centimeters square. Acha, how do you calculate the volume of a smaller prism? Volume is equals to area of cross section multiplied by the length. Okay, so what we can do is, we're given the volume of the smaller prism, which is 30. We know what the area of cross section is. That's 15 centimeters square. So 15. Actually, the volume is not 30. The volume is actually 300. Into the length. So that means the length is equals to 20 centimeter. Okay. The length of the smaller prism is equal to 30 centimeter. ठीक हो गया? अच्छा. अब we are supposed to calculate the length of the larger prism. What are we supposed to do? We're supposed to calculate the length of the larger prism. So that means, once again, this is what we're going to use. A1 upon A2 is equals to L1 upon L2, the whole thing square. How did you guys get 40? The answer is 60. I don't know which part you guys are talking about, but this answer is 60. Why? Because when you square it, so 15 upon A2 is equals to 1 upon 4. Now when you square it, so A2 is equals to 15 times 4, which is equal to 60. Okay. Yeah, if there was a measuring question, there will be a range. Okay, part 2, let's find out. Let's wait and find out. So we'll have to take the areas. The areas are 15 and 60. So 15 the area of the smaller prism, 60 the area of the cross section of the larger prism. Okay, since we have A2, we've worked it out, 60 centimeters square is equals to L1. Now we're going to take the length. So the length of the smaller prism is 20. The length of the larger prism, we don't know. So that's basically unknown. So 15 upon 60, when you simplify, you have 1 upon 4, which is equal to 20 upon L square. My advice is do not square it, because we now realize that we can actually take the square root on both sides. So when we take the square root on both sides, this is what we end up with. So we end up with 1 upon 2 is equals to 20 upon L2. Okay, so what's L2 equal to? L2 is equals to 40 centimeters. There you go. Sir, is it fine if you use the scale? Yeah, use any method that you like. Okay, what about this question? ये काफ़ी SAT टाइप क्वेश्चन है. ये हो गया था आप लोगों से? बेटा मुझे याद तो नहीं है कि आंसर क्या था. चलें, let's check. Let's check if 15 was in fact the correct answer. So it says a group of k numbers has a mean of 56.8. Now what can I do with the help of this? I can calculate the sum. Okay, you're only going to use one formula in this entire question. Simple as that. So sum is equal to n. Mean is equals to sum upon n. Mean is equals to sum divided by n. But if you want to go over something again, just simply go back to that part of the stream and watch it again. Simple. So mean is 56.8. Sum we don't know. However, we do know that the number of terms that we're talking about is basically k. So that means the sum is equal to 56.8k. ठीक हो गया? Okay. The number 52 is added to the group. So if the sum is already 56.8k, okay, so that means now what's the sum going to be? The sum is going to be 56.8 plus 52. Okay, so now once again, we're going to use the formula mean is equals to sum upon n. So now the sum is basically 56.8 k plus 52. Okay, so 56.8k from before plus 52. And what's the total number of terms that we have? The total number of terms are now, earlier they were k, now they're equal to k plus 1. Okay, and what is the mean equal to? The mean is equal to 56.5. That's it, job done. So I'll explain it again. You had k terms, okay, so k is basically the number of terms that you have, and their mean was equal to 56.8. So we can cross multiply and find out the sum. Now, how many terms are we talking about? We're talking about the sum of k terms. That's equal to 56.8. Now, if you add another term to the group, that means the sum increases. So this is the old sum plus the new term that you've added. So this is the new sum. And how many terms are we now talking about? We're talking about k plus 1 terms. Why? Because this is already the sum of k terms. You've added another term. So that means now the total number of terms are k plus 1. And once you do that, what's the mean equal to? The mean is equal to 56.5. Now you cross multiply. So you have 56.5k plus 56.5 is equals to 56.8k plus 52. Now let's get all the terms, let's get all the k's on the right hand side and constants on the left. So 56.5 minus 52, that's equal to 4.5. Okay, and then 56.8 minus 56.5, that's equal to 0.3. 0.3k. So what's k is equal to? K is equals to 4.5 divided by 0.3, which is equal to 15. There you go. Job done. So what if sum is not clearly written and is written as x? What do you mean by that, Elisa? I don't understand what you mean by that. Okay. So let's move on. Graphs of functions. Another untested topic. So you can expect this in paper 2 of O levels for sure. IGCSE Math, I'm a little bit doubtful. That's what I mentioned in the video also, that I'm a little bit doubtful whether it's going to show up in IGCSE or not. Because there has been a question, but again, this topic is so extensive, kya pata IGCSE may bhi aa jaye. You never know. Okay, so just be prepared. All right, now. I know it wasn't, it was tested, but this topic is very extensive. Okay, this topic is very extensive. So you might get a different part of it. You might get a part of it where you have to draw a tangent and find the gradient. You might get that. Okay, so when you plug in 0, you can see that you will get 3. Let's see what happens when you plug in 0.5. So 2 times 0.5, the whole thing cubed, minus 4 into 0.5 squared, plus 3. So you get 2.25. We didn't sketch the graph. Yeah, so you might get a sketching related question. How often do you do lives? Almost every day, close to exams. I think you've just joined us or something. So close to exams almost every day. In fact, yes, every day, close to exams. So then when you plug in 1, you get 1. So 2 minus 4, that's minus 2. Minus 2 plus 3 is 1. Okay, great. 3 marks. Wow, 3 marks for just using your calculator. Wow, that's a brilliant deal. Anyway, so minus 1, 3, that's going to be right here. Then minus 0.5, positive 1.75, so that's going to be right here. Then 0, 3, so that's going to be right here. Okay, then 0.5, 2.25. So 0.5 is going to be in between 0 and 1. 2.25 will be in between 2 and 2.5. Achha, then we have 1, 1, so that's right here. Okay, then we have 1.5 and 0.75. So 0.75 will be in between 0.5 and 1. And then we have 2, 3, which means the graph is turned again. So there you go. So remember to just hover your pencil through the points. Wait a minute. Say yeah. No, wait a minute. कुछ गड़बड़ है. चलो. पहला वाला -1 -3 है. हाँ वही मैं कहूँ क्यूबिक ग्राफ्स ऐसे कब से होने लगे. -1 -3. There you go. And then minus 0.5, 1.75. ठीक है, सही है. So let's hover your pencil. Let's hover the pencil through all the points, and this is what we get. Yeah, this makes more sense. This is what a cubic graph should look like. So see, having knowledge of what a cubic graph looks like will save your day. ठीक है, ठीक है भाई, चिल्लाना बंद कर दें. मैंने कर लिया ठीक. Okay, now. -1 -3, minus 0.5, positive 1.75, 0, 3, that's correct, 0.5, 2.25, that's also correct, 1, 1, that's also correct, 1.5 and 0.75, that's also correct, 2, 3, that's also correct. Okay, now, so let's join them and make a nice and smooth curve. So we've done multiple practice shots. Now let's take the actual shot. There you go. Okay. Now, insane as in good or bad? I would probably give this like a 6 on 10. Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. So the thing is, practice shots में ज़्यादा stakes high नहीं होते ना. But it's just जैसे आप लोग घर पे बैठ के तो एग्जाम्स में आपके 100 और 100 आते हैं, लेकिन जब एग्जामिनेशन हॉल जाते हैं तो सब भूल जाते हैं. तो ऐसे ही होता है. मेरे साथ भी ऐसा है. प्रैक्टिस शॉट्स करता हूँ तो I get it right, but when it comes to the actual, I mess it up. Okay, so use your graph to solve the equation so and so. 2x cubed minus 4x squared plus 3 is equals to 1.5. So the left-hand side is in fact equal to the equation of the curve. So that means y is equals to 1.5 is the line that we're supposed to draw. Even if you don't draw a line, you can still solve it because the question does not categorically say that you are supposed to draw a suitable straight line. So just draw a line, and there you go. This gets the job done. So like I said, even if you don't draw a line, that's perfectly all right. But my advice would be for better values, as in to be able to see the values clearly, it's a good idea to draw the line. There you go. And there you go. So here's my answer. We get minus 0.5 minus 0.55. So one answer is minus 0.55. Okay, plus minus 0.1 or 0.2. Then you have 0.5, 0.75, 0.8. So positive 0.8. And then there is 1.75 and 1.8. So there's nothing practically in between 1.75 and 1.8 that we can write. So we're just, what is it closer to? It's closer to 1.8. So I'll probably write this as, in fact, it's closer to 1.8. So I'll write this as 1.8. There you go. Okay, yeah, definitely. So in सब में plus minus 0.2 की गुंजाइश है. Okay, in सब में plus minus 0.2 की गुंजाइश है. So I'm currently in... But I don't usually stream topics for 8th grade and 9th grade. I usually stream topics for students who have their exams the following year. Okay, that's basically grade 11 and in some cases grade 10. So, but you will find plenty of relevant content. Anyway, so this is the equation of the curve. Has only one solution. One solution basically means one point of intersection. Okay, one solution means that there is one point of intersection. That's what it means. Okay, so it's y is equals to k. Now, where can we draw a line y equals to k, which has one point of intersection with the curve? Can the first one be minus 0.8? No, minus 0.8 is way off. Minus 0.8 is way, way off. Search and thank you, Fazan. I appreciate it. So where can we draw a straight line so that it has only one point of intersection with the curve? Achha, are we given a range? Yeah, we're given a range also. That's from minus 1 to 2. Achha, that's the range of x. So that means if I draw a line which is above this line, okay, so if I draw a line which is above this, like for example, if I draw a line, achha, the question says write down a possible integer value. Achha, काम करते हैं ज़्यादा risk नहीं लेते. Okay, so if I draw a line at y equals to 0, there will be one point of intersection. If I draw a line at y equals to minus 1, there will be one point of intersection. Minus 2, 1 point. Minus 3, 1 point. So for as long as the line is below this, any integer value will work. And for as long as the line is above 3, any integer value will work. Okay, so I think chop chop, let's just go with minus 1. Okay, so that means one possible integer value of k is minus 1. Okay, minus 2 also makes sense. Minus 2 also makes sense. Okay, y equals to 0 also is good. Does the question say positive, negative? No. Y equals to 0 is also good. Okay, so multiple answers. 0 is acceptable, minus 1 is acceptable, minus 2, minus 3, dot, dot, dot. There is no lower limit really. Okay, no, बेटा 0.5 मेरे ज़माने में तो इंटीजर नहीं होता था, अब होने लगा तो मैं कुछ कह नहीं सकता, लेकिन सवाल पढ़ लेते हैं, फ़ायदा हो जाता है. Okay, now, part B. Part B says, on the grid, draw a tangent to the curve at x equals to 1. So let's draw a tangent to the curve at x equals to 1. And what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to... Now remember, the objective of drawing a tangent is to sort of amplify, or to magnify, sorry, not amplify, magnify a certain part of the curve and turn it into a straight line. Okay, so this is the tangent. And because the graph is already given, I don't expect a lot of range. Don't expect a lot of, don't expect a very wide range. Okay, wide range हमें जब मिलती है when we make the graph and we make the tangent. अच्छा, one पे ही बनाना है ना? Yeah. So let's pick nice points that will give us the gradient. So the points that I kind of like is this. So this point will be 0.5, 0.6, comma 1. Yeah, so 0.6, comma 1. That's a quick question. What will be the gradient of this tangent? What will be the gradient of this tangent? It said possible values, not positive. I don't know what's that. Positive, that's correct. It's got to be positive. Why? Because it's an upward sloping line. Acha, what's next? Next point. A solid point, so I kind of like this. This is 1.8, comma 4.4. So 1.8, comma 4.4. Okay, if you use dy by dx over here, you'll get 0 marks. So 4.4 minus 1 over 1.8 minus 0.6. So you get No, wait, it's not 1.8. It's actually 1.25, 1.3, 1.3. So let me just double check. 0.6 comma 1, that's correct. 1.25, one box to the right, that's 1.3 comma 4.4. Yeah. So 4.857, which means 4.86. Okay, so add plus minus 1, and that will be the acceptable answer. Yeah, so 4 plus minus 1 is correct. Write down the equation of the tangent in the form y equals to mx plus c. Okay, so एक काम करते हैं. It says, so we have the gradient. So y is equals to 4.86 plus c. Let's find out the point through which the curve is, let's use a point through which the line is passing to find out. Yeah, 4 is acceptable. 4 is acceptable. So in place of y, we write 1. In place of x, we write 0.86. 0.6, sorry. So let's see what we get. Yeah, you can extend the line also. Okay, you can extend the line also. So 4.86 into 0.6, 1 minus answer. So that's minus 1.916. Line को extend करके भी कर सकते हैं. अच्छा, question ने ये नहीं बोला कि use your graph to find the equation. Okay, the question did not say that. But if you do use your graph, so as per the graph, it's minus 1.8. ठीक है, वो भी चलेगा. Because there's got to be an acceptable range over here also. So y is equals to 4.86 minus 1.9. And that's my answer. So there's got to be an acceptable range when it comes to the y-intercept as well. There you go. Yeah, minus 2 bhi chalega, of course. Why we can't use dy by dx here? No. The question says use your tangent. Okay, so if you have to use your tangent, you have to use your tangent. Where did you get plus 12? When did I get plus 12? Where did I write plus 12? Let me know. 4x minus 1. No, 4x minus 1 is definitely unacceptable. Yeah, 5.2x minus 2.2, that's also correct. Achha, so tell me, do you guys want another mock tomorrow? My grades. I got an A in maths, that's what I remember. उससे ज़्यादा मुझे नहीं याद. Yes. Okay. Well, say when I was taking out questions for this mock, I already took out some questions for the second mock. So I was hoping you guys would say that. Okay, calculate the total surface area of the frustum. अच्छा, बायो कब है आप लोगों का? Tuesday को. So that means कल तो आप दे सकते हैं ना mock. कल किसी का कोई पेपर है? Calculate the total surface area of the frustum. कल कौन सा पेपर है और कितने बजे? मुझे दोनों बातें बताएं. अच्छा, frustum का total surface area means, so imagine, whenever you have to calculate the surface area, okay, I hope you guys applied that logic in paper 1 also, or paper 2 of IGCSE. Imagine as if you're holding the object in your hand. Okay, so as you're holding the object in your hand, physics, okay. So as you're holding the object in your hand, what are the surfaces that you can touch? You can touch the top surface, you can touch the bottom surface, and you can touch the curved surface. Okay, you can touch the curved surface. वो किस में question आया था, where you were given a cylinder and a hemisphere? Was that O-levels or was that IGCSE? So anyway, let's find out the total surface area of the frustum. So that's basically going to be the base plus the top plus the curved surface area. Okay, now as far as the base is concerned, we have enough information. IGCSE Math. Okay. As far as the base is concerned, you can find out the total surface area of the base. But as far as the top is concerned, you don't have enough information. And same goes for curved surface area also, which is why this is actually a 5-mark question. So what can we do here? Whenever you have a frustum, okay, now frustum can be made from a cone, frustum can be made from a pyramid. It's basically when you cut out either a cone, okay, when you make a cut that's parallel to the base, can happen in a cone, can happen in a pyramid, and the smaller shape is also a cone or a pyramid. Okay, so what happens as a result is that you get, what do you get? You get two similar triangles. Okay, what do you get? You get two similar triangles. ठीक हो गया? अच्छा. अब here's the thing. We know the height of the bigger triangle. What about the height of the smaller triangle? The height of the smaller triangle will be 1.44 minus 0.48. So 1.44 minus 0.48, that's equal to 0.96. So 0.96. Now with the help of that, I can find out the radius of the smaller circle. Okay, so I can do 0.96, which is the height of the smaller triangle, divide by 1.44, the height of the larger triangle, is equal to r, the radius of the smaller triangle, divided by 0.6, the radius of the, sorry, I said a triangle, radius of the smaller, or you can say base of the smaller triangle, divided by the base of the larger triangle. So 0.96 divided by 1.44 into 0.6, so we get the radius to be equal to 0.4. Okay, so that means we now have enough information to find out the total surface area of the base, which would be equal to pi into 0.6 squared, plus the total surface area of the top, which would be equal to pi into 0.4 squared. But we have a problem. The problem is that we don't have enough information to find out the curved surface area. So what's the curved surface area going to be equal to? The curved surface area will be equal to the curved surface area of the larger cone minus the curved surface area of the smaller cone. Okay, so that means we will have to first find out the slant height of the larger cone. Okay, so let's call that capital L. ठीक है, तो जो बड़ी कौन है उसकी slant height को हम capital L बोल देते हैं. And the slant height of the smaller cone, we will call that lowercase l. Okay, so let's start with capital L. So capital L will be equal to square root of 1.44 squared plus 0.6 squared. But they didn't told us if both are mathematically similar. It's understood, it's understood beta, okay, whenever you have a frustum is basically obtained by removing a smaller shape from a larger shape. Okay, and when you do that, the two shapes automatically become similar. And if the shapes are similar, that means the two triangles are also similar. So 1.56 is the slant height. Okay, so that means we will first find out the curved surface area of the larger cone. And from that, we will subtract the curved surface area of the smaller cone. Okay, so curved surface area, remember, it will be big minus small. Okay, now let's calculate the small slant height, for which we will do 0.96 squared plus 0.4 squared. 0.96 squared plus 0.4 squared. So let's work this out. Square root of 0.96 squared plus 0.4 squared. Now, if you don't get this, I would strongly recommend that you watch the stream that I've done on frustum. You probably don't get this because you don't understand how frustums work. Okay, and I've solved this very question in the frustum stream also. So I would strongly suggest that you watch that. So pi r we worked out to be 0.4 and L 1.04. Okay, now it's just a matter of putting this all together and let's see what happens. So pi into 0.6, they said to find the total surface area. Yeah, I do agree. Total surface area. So we want the surface area of the top, surface area of the base, and the curved surface area, which will be obtained by finding the curved surface area of the bigger cone minus the curved surface area of the smaller cone. So pi r square plus pi into 0.4 squared plus pi r l. So pi into 0.6 into 1.56. ठीक हो गया. Minus pi. Anyone who has the answer to this? And you want to check whether you've gotten it right or not? Sir ji, मुझे unblock तो कर दें. What's the answer? No, there is no rounding off. Small l should round to 1.10. नहीं, इधर कोई भी चीज़ मैंने round off नहीं की. Okay, I didn't round off anything. So the answer that we're getting is basically 26 upon 25 pi, but the question is not asking us to give the answer in exact form. So we can say 3.27 meter square. Okay, 3.27 meter square. There we go. Okay, now, if you, this is the correct answer, There's no exceptions to it. If you got the answer, that's great. If you didn't, then figure out what you've done wrong. Okay, figure out what you've done wrong yourself. And there you go. Let's move on. Question number 13. The diagram shows a quadrilateral PQRS formed from two triangles PQS and QRS. Calculate QR. So QR, for QR, we can use sine rule. So we have one complete length. This is missing. So QR divide, one complete pair, sorry. QR divided by sine 25 will be equal to the other length divided by sine of the angle opposite to it, sine 72. Let's see what do we get. So 6 divided by sine 72 into sine 25. So that's equal to 2.66, correct to 3 significant figures. PS. So now that we have this, 2.66, PS. How can we find PS? PS can be found with the help of cosine rule. So PS will be equal to square root of 6 squared plus 7.4 squared minus 2 into 6 into 7.4 into cos of 34. Let's work this out. 2.67 actually, yeah, 2.67. Isn't small, sir, small L? Nope, that's not what it is, Iman. 0.96 squared plus 0.4 squared, that's exactly 1.04. No need to round it off. Okay, so square root of 6 squared plus 7.4 squared minus 2 into 6 into 7.4 into cos 34. What do we get? We get 4.14 centimeter. Calculate the area of quadrilateral PQRS. Okay, so the question has made us find out all the relevant information. I think I solved this question in yesterday's stream. So let's find out this angle, 180 minus 25 minus 72, that's equal to 83. So notice we now have enough information to calculate the area. ठीक है, इसका एक screenshot ले लेते हैं. इसको यहाँ रखते हैं. इसको यहाँ रखते हैं. Okay, now 1 upon 2 into 7.4 into October, but I don't do October, November sessions. 7.4 into 6 into sine 34. Okay, plus half into 6 into 2.66, 2.67 actually, 2.67, I forgot to change this, 2.67 into sine of 83. Okay, so let's work this out. 0.5 into 7.4 into 6 into sine 34, close the bracket, plus 0.5 into 6 into 2.67 into sine 83. Okay, so we have 20.275. So that is as good as 20.3. Okay, 20.3 is good. Okay, part B. Part B says the diagram shows an open box A, B, C, D. So could we use the slant heights in the similar question if we were given? No, the answer to the first term question is 26 upon 25 pi. If we were given, yeah, you could do that. Could do that. Calculate gx, the length of the rod which is outside the box. Now, it's actually not that difficult question because you're given the entire length of the rod, which is 40 centimeter, and you're given that this is in the shape of a cuboid. So what you have to do is you have to first find out the length of the 3D diagonal. Okay, and the length of the 3D diagonal can basically be found by first calculating the length of the diagonal of the rectangle. Okay, so let's call this D. So D will be equal to square root of 20 squared plus 18 squared. 20 squared plus 18 squared. So square root of 20 squared plus 18 squared. So we get 2 under root 81. 181. Okay, we're going to keep things as it is till we get to the very end. Okay. Now this is equal to 16, as you can see, given in the question. Okay, and then we're going to call this L. किसकी बात कर रहे हैं हम बात कर रहे हैं AG की. Okay, so AG will be equal to, sorry, not AC, AG will be equal to square root of 2 under root 181 squared plus 16 squared. Okay, so let's work this out. AG, और ये जो D है ना, ये इसको मैंने AC बोला है. So AG is equal to 2 under root 81 squared plus 16 squared. Let's take the square root of it. That's equal to 14 under root 5. So what you want is basically GX. So GX will be equal to 40 because 40 is the length of the entire rod. Okay, and from 40, we're going to subtract 14 under root 5. So what do we get? 40 minus 40 under root 5. So that's equal to 8.695, which is equal to 8.70. Okay, keep things exact till you get to the very end. Will I get marks for using 3D distance formula using the XYZ coordinates? What do you mean the XYZ coordinates? Does line of best fit have to pass through origin? No, of course not. Who said that the line of best fit has to pass through the origin? Calculate the angle the rod makes with the base of the box. Okay. So now that you know that AG is equals to 2 under root 181, you can draw a separate triangle. You can draw GAC. So that's what I'm going to do. I will draw the triangle GAC separately. Okay. So here's G, here's A, here's C. Now we worked out AG to be equal to 14 under root 5. And we know that GC is equals to 16. Okay, now you want the angle that the rod makes with the box. So that means you want this angle. So we can use cos. So cos of theta is equals to, sorry, not cos, we can use sine. Sine theta is equals to opposite over hypotenuse. So sine theta is equals to 16 over 14 under root 5. Let's see, what do we get? Sine inverse of 16 divided by 14 under root 5. So we get 30.7, correct to 1 decimal place. Okay, remember, any angle is always given correct to 1 decimal place. Simple as that. Okay, question number 14. Yes, you are definitely allowed to draw. Yeah, you can use, irrespective of what trigonometric ratio you use, as long as you're using the correct lengths, you will get the correct answer. Okay, simple as that. Why would you write 31 minus 30.7? किस खुशी में round off करेंगे हम? Sir, it always says base, so won't we add FAB also? FAB. बेटा FAB देखो, जब वो बोलता है बेस, तो इसका मतलब बेस पे कोई लाइन होनी चाहिए जिससे एंगल बने. ठीक है, जो AB है ये बिल्कुल बेस का एज है. ठीक है, बेस क्या है? बेस तो बेसिकली जो एजेस के अराउंड है, दैट्स द बेस. ओके, सो एवरीथिंग बिटवीन द एजेस इज द बेस. Okay, and these are the edges. So the angle that it makes with the edge is not the angle that it makes with the base. Okay, now Hong has $4,000 to invest. She invests $2,000 at a rate of 2.5% per year, simple interest. Okay, and 2% per year compound interest. All right. Find the value of each investment at the end of 8 years. All right. So let's start with simple. So remember, simple interest gives you the interest. And here the question says value of each investment. So what are we going to do? Are we just going to write down the inverse, or are we going to write down the total? Simple interest, which is equal to PRT upon 100. Don't think that you will get any marks for writing down the formula. This is not grade 5. So 2,000 into the rate, which is 2.5. How many years are we talking about? We're talking about 8 years. So that's divided by 100. So 2,000 into 2.5 into 8 divided by 100. So that's equal to 400. Okay, so that means the total value, the total will be equal to 2,000 plus 400. So that's equal to 2,400. Now what about compound interest? The compound interest, now the deal with compound interest is that in the formula only you get the total. Total is equals to principal into 100 plus R upon 100. Now, I know a lot of you will lose your mind. Okay, ye kaun sa formula? Isn't it 1 plus R upon 100? It's the same thing. So don't freak out. Raised to the power of n, as in the number of times you get the interest. So 2,000 is the principal amount into 102 because of 100 plus 2 upon 100 raised to the power of 8. So let's work this out. So your previous answer, part B2, is wrong. Okay, what's the correct answer then? 2000 into 102 over 100, close the bracket, raise it to the power of 8. So we get 2343.318. Now remember, dollar values are given correct to 2 decimal place, because dollar values are only relevant correct to 2 decimal place. After that, they're irrelevant. Okay, 41.3. Acha, what's wrong with it? Mujhe batao. I'll check the answer also, and also tell me what's wrong. Then the question says, find the overall percentage increase in the 4,000 investment at the end of 8 years. So let's see what is the total investment. So what's the total investment? The total investment is 2,400 plus 2343.32. So that's equal to 4,743.32. Okay. So that's the total. Okay, so you can say this is the new amount. Now what about the old? The old is 4,000. So let's calculate the percentage increase. New minus old upon old into 100. ठीक हो गया. So this minus 4,000, that's equal to 743.32 upon the old, which is 4,000 into 100. Let's work this out. So divide by 4,000 into 100. We get 18.58, which will lock at 18.6%. Although the answer to this is 18.583, but we'll lock it at 18.6%. I think you typed it wrong in the calculator. Acha, let me check. Sine inverse of 16 divided by 14 under root 5. No, it's correct. 30.70 our answer. How did I get 743.32? By taking the difference. See, this is what her total investment is now equal to. This is what was the amount that she initially invested. And the question is asking the percentage increase. So there you go. So you could explain why we add. The formula of simple interest is designed in a way that it gives you just the interest earned, whereas the formula of compound interest gives you the total. That's why in simple interest you need to add if you want the total. In compound interest you don't, because the formula gives you the total. However, in compound interest, if you want to find out the interest earned, you will have to subtract the principal amount from it. Can we have idea about threshold for IGCSE P2 from O-level paper 2? No, we cannot. Simple as that. Find the number of complete years it takes for the compound interest 2,000 to become greater than 2,500. Okay, no problem. So 2,000. Okay, now what's the rate? By the way, the rate, whatever information is given here, that still applies. Okay. So 102 upon 100 raised to the power of n is equals to 2,500. Now we want it to be greater than 2,500. Okay, we don't want it to be equal to, we want it to be greater than 2,500. So let's do a bit of trial and error. In 8 years, we know that it reaches 2343. Okay, so we know that in 8 years, when n is equals to 8, it reaches 2343. Okay, so we'll do a bit of trial and error. Okay, मैं काम करता हूँ, I'll do it in front of you guys so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. So here's the deal. 2,000, bracket open, 102 upon 100, close the bracket. Whoops, close the bracket. Let's raise it to the power of 10. Nope, not good enough. Let's raise it to the power of 11. Nope, not good enough. Let's raise it to the power of 12. Yep, that's good enough. So 8 is not the correct answer. However, when we take 12, so at 12, the total reaches a value which is greater than 2,500. Okay, that's what the question also says. So that means the number of complete years that it takes is basically 12 years. There you go. Now, I don't suggest that you use logarithms here, because logarithms is not part of the syllabus. So you can't use something that's not part of the syllabus. It's best to stay within the syllabus. Okay. A invests $5,000 at a rate of R% per year compound interest. At the end of 15 years, the value of the investment is 7,566. Find the value of R. Okay, so 5,000 into 100 plus R upon 100 raise it to the power 15 is equals to 7566. So that means 100 plus r upon 100 raised to the power of 15 is equal to 7566 divided by 5000. Let's see if this is a whole number. I mean, let's see if this is, yeah, so we'll take this as it is, 1.5132. Now, how do you get rid of power 15? You get rid of power 15 by taking the 15th root on each side. So when you take the 15th root of it, so the 15th root of the answer, what we just worked out. No, it doesn't say close. Beta Minahil, do yourself a favor and read the question. Where does it say closer to or closest to? It says greater than 2500. ठीक है, तो आप लोग सवाल पढ़ नहीं रहे हो, अपनी तरफ से assume कर रहे हो. So this is what we get. We get 100 plus r upon 100 is equal to 1.02799. Now we'll multiply this by 100. So let's multiply this by 100. So we're looking at a certain value, and from that, let's subtract 100. So r is equals to 2.799. So r is equals to 2.80. That's the correct answer. Now, why are you guys, I heard a lot of you say that r is 3. Now, 3 is not the correct answer. 2.8 is the correct answer. I hope nobody is taking the liberty to just round 2.8 off to 3. That's not correct. Acha, what's your question? Sir, one quick question. Will you do a mock live one? Yeah. So there will be plenty of mocks for AS. There will be plenty of mocks for M1. For M1, there's a mock today at 9:30 p.m. There will be plenty of mocks for S1. Don't worry about it. Okay, there will be a lot of streams also for S1 for all the difficult chapters such as permutation, combination, normal distribution, and all that stuff. Okay, so relax. Focus on the rest of the papers. Don't worry about S1. अच्छा ये सवाल करते हैं. Limits of accuracy भी ज़रा मुझे बताएं. I think it wasn't tested in O levels as well as IGCSE. Is that correct? What time tomorrow's stream? Okay, फिर आ गया कोई leak लेके. How to find a point on a line that is in the midpoint if a line is divided in the... You'll have to use vectors. You'll have to use vectors, Suraya. Yes, बिल्कुल complete है उमर. कल मैंने momentum के अच्छे खासे questions solve कराए. Work energy power भी I've done it from scratch. It's complete. So yeah, you can start. No, Ahmed beta, you're probably doing something wrong. You're probably not entering it into your calculator correctly, because use your common sense. What happens if you take the LCM of 1 plus r upon 100? It's the same thing. Okay. So, sir, can you please do one for M1? Yeah, there is a mock tonight at 9:30 for M1. Can you tell me hello? Hello. I don't know what you mean by that. Achha, Serge walks 7.9 kilometers, correct to the nearest 100 meters. Okay, so this is a limits of accuracy question along with some conversion. What if my answer is 2.7 for the last one? If I was the one checking the paper, I would probably not give you any marks. I mean, I'll give you some marks, but I'll definitely cut 1 mark. So I don't know if the examiner will do that, but he or she has the right to. So basically, correct to the nearest 100 meters. Now, if you know, I have a standard approach of limits of accuracy questions. So 100 meters basically means 0.1 kilometer. So you take 0.1 and you divide by 2. What do you get? 0.1 divided by 2 is 0.05. So that means the upper bound will be 7.95. Now, I don't know which bound you need, but might as well work out both. And the lower bound would be 7.85. Okay. Now, then the question says that the walk takes 133 minutes, correct to the nearest minute. Nearest minute means 1 minute. Okay, so 133, correct to the nearest 1 minute. So that's 1 upon 2, which is equal to 0.5. So that means the upper bound will be 133.5. The lower bound would be 132.5. There you go. Okay, now, what do we want? We want to calculate the maximum possible average speed. Speed is equals to distance upon time. Okay, please don't be silly that you read maximum possible average speed. Now you end up taking maximum possible average speed of you end up basically taking the maximum value of everything. So tell me if this is correct. We take the maximum distance and the maximum time to get the maximum possible speed. Is that correct? Yes or no? Think before you answer. Okay, think before you answer, please. Yeah, M1 kinematics, I am inshallah doing either tomorrow I'm doing a mock. So after today's mock, I'll ask you guys if you want a mock stream tomorrow or if you want kinematics. No, we will not take maximum time. Obviously, we'll take maximum distance. Thank God you guys didn't fall for it. And we will take the minimum time. Okay, so what's the maximum distance? The maximum distance is 7.95. And what's the minimum time? 132.5. Is this correct or is there something wrong? Is this correct or is there something wrong? 7.95 over 132.5. In minutes. That's correct. So I need to divide this by 60. You guys are paying attention. 132.5 over 60. So we get 3.6. That's correct. 3.6 hours. All right. Okay, now this, I forgot to write the question number here. Actually, this was supposed to be part A, and this was supposed to be part B. खैर, ये हो गया था आप लोगों से? अच्छा, इस तरह के क्वेश्चन ना वैसे ज़्यादातर IGCSE में आते हैं. Let me tell you that. But that doesn't mean they can't come in O levels, because conceptually this is O levels as well. So here's the deal. The length of the station is 225 meters. So that means this is basically 225 meters. Right? This is the length of the station, which is 225 meters. The length of train is 105 meters. So that means this is the train right here. Okay, so train की क्या length है? Train की length है 105. Okay. For this train to pass through the station completely, emphasis on the word completely, what's the distance that it needs to cover? We know very well that speed is equals to distance upon time. Fine, we'll take care of the conversion and everything. No one need to worry about that. But what is the distance that we have to cover? Time, yes, 11 seconds, no problem. Okay, but what about the distance? What about the distance? Achha, this is not upper bound, lower bound by any means. Why didn't we use 7.85? Better read the question carefully. Okay, I'm not going to answer that. It needs to cover 330. That's correct. It needs to cover 330 meters. Why? Because if, so this is the point when the train enters. If, let's say, the train only travels 225 meters, what happens then? If the train only travels 225 meters, so that means this is basically what traveling 225 meters looks like. This point has, the front of the train has traveled 225 meters. So has the train passed through the station completely? No, it hasn't. Okay, so it's only the front of the train, or only if only the front of the train travels 225 meters, it does not pass the station completely. So that means for it to pass the station completely, it needs to travel 225 plus its own length, which is equal to what? Which is equal to 105. Okay, only then will the train pass through the station completely. Okay. Achha, ab I know you guys are worrying about meters per second and kilometers per hour. That's a small thing to worry about. This is the big thing to worry about. So let's work this out. Let's see what do we get. 225 plus 105, that's equal to 330 divided by 11. So we get 11 meters per second. But be careful. This is in meters per second. We want it in kilometers per hour. So we divide by 1000 upon 3600. So that means 11 into 3600 over 1000. Okay, so 11 into 3600 over 1000. So we're looking at 39.6. 39.6 kilometers per hour. 108. Are you guys sure about that? Taro, let me see. You might have done something wrong. 225 plus 105, that's 330. Divide by 11, that's 30 into 3600. Oh yeah, I made some calculation error. Sorry, my bad. I made some calculation error. Sorry. 225 plus 105 divide by 11. Sorry, मैंने divide by 11 करके मैंने 11 ही लिख दिया. It's supposed to be 30. Sorry. So 30, which then we divide by 1000 upon 3600, which means this will now be 30 into 3600. आप लोगों को तो mini heart attack आ गया होगा, right? 30 into 3600 over 1000. And you're absolutely right. The answer is 108. वही I was wondering कुछ गड़बड़ है मेरे आंसर में. 108 kilometers per hour. Okay. So if I convert it into hour, then took the lower bound for the time, plugged in the formula, the previous part, will it be wrong? No, it's not wrong. Okay, you can change the order. Like for example, here also, if you want, you can convert this into meter, this into kilometers, this into kilometers, this into hours, and then solve it. That's perfectly all right. Because I hope everyone understands in questions like these, and you will have, especially IGCSE students, you'll have plenty of questions like these. Okay, so when the train has covered the length of the bridge plus its own length, that is when it passes completely. ठीक है, बस ये कॉन्सेप्ट याद रखना आपने. Now, f of minus 3, so 2 times minus 3, that's 6. 3 plus 6, 2 times minus 3, so that's going to be 9. 3 plus 6, that's equal to 9. G of f of minus 3, now we've already worked out f of minus 3. That means now what we need to do is we need to work out g of 9. So that's equal to 2 times 9 plus 3. 2 times 9 is 18. 18 plus 3, that's equal to 21. F inverse of x, so y is equals to 3 minus 2x. That means y, or 2x is equals to 3 minus y. 2x is equals to 3 minus y, which means x is equals to 3 minus y upon 2. ठीक हो गया? Okay, so f inverse of x will be 3 minus x upon 2. Okay, find x when g of x is equals to 7. So first let's find out g of x. G of x basically means that in x, I plug in function g. So that's 4x plus 6 plus 3. So that's 4x plus 9, which is equal to 7. So 4x is equals to minus 2. X is equals to minus 2 upon 4, which means minus 0.5. There you go. अच्छा, ये सवाल हो गया तो सबसे यहाँ अभी भी प्रॉब्लम हो रही है. I hope nobody used logs over here. H of x is equals to 2 power x. H of x is equals to 2 power of x. So we will not find h inverse of x. Okay, we will take inverse across the equals to function. It turns into a normal function. So we'll find h of 5. So h of 5 basically means 2 power 5, which means 32. Alhamdulillah. Okay, simplify. So in the numerator, we'll do middle term breaking. Factors of 30, that will give you plus 1. So plus 6x minus 5x minus 15. Over in the denominator, we'll take a common. So we have x plus 3. And then we will take minus 2 along with b common. So we once again have x plus 3. ठीक हो गया? Now in the numerator, we'll take 2 along with x common. So we have x plus 3. Then we will take minus 5 common. So we have x plus 3 over a minus 2b into x plus 3. Now let's write this nicely so that we can simplify also. So you have 2x minus 5 into x plus 3. As far as the denominator is concerned, no need to, we'll just copy paste it to save some time. There you go. So what can be simplified? X plus 3 and x plus 3 can be simplified. So that means you have 2x minus 5 over a minus 2b. There you go. Or minus 2b plus a, that also works. सर कोई आप कोई और मॉक लेंगे? हाँ बिल्कुल, मैं इंशाल्लाह कल भी सोच रहा हूँ एक मॉक लूँ. तो कल आप लोगों ने क्या बताया? You guys have physics tomorrow, is that correct? No, finding inverse of power functions is not part of your syllabus, and please don't waste time trying to learn it. Okay, I know a lot of you are using logs to work it out. It's a total waste of time. We don't have such questions. So what to do if rate is missing in simple interest? There's probably some other information you're given to compensate for it. Okay, there's probably some other information that you're given to compensate for it. So this was an easy paper. I think you all should have scored 80 plus. Okay. I think you all should have scored 80 plus here because, like I said, it was a relatively easy paper. I'm not giving the threshold ke kitne pe A star. ठीक है, I'm not doing that. But it was a fairly easy paper. Now, let me schedule a mock tomorrow in the evening. कल मुझे M1 का भी करना है, AS आप लोगों का भी करना है. तो ठीक है, let me figure it out. Let me figure it out. And I'll announce on my Instagram, inshallah. Achha, this is not one paper. This is not one paper. This is basically a mixture of multiple papers. कुछ specimen हैं, कुछ practice हैं. So it's a mixture of multiple papers. ठीक है. Anyway, so I'm going to stop here. I'll see you guys, inshallah, in the next stream. So take care, everyone. What time do you guys get done with bio? What time do you guys get done with bio? चलिए बताएं. Those of you who have bio tomorrow, what time do you guys get done with it? As in, what time are you home? 2 p.m.? 3 p.m.? Sir, in interest, what to do when... Dekho, if something is not given, obviously there is something else given to you to compensate for it. Okay, ऐसा तो नहीं है ना कि अगर एक चीज़ नहीं दी हुई, मैं आपसे अगर equation में एक चीज़ नहीं दी हुई, तो you're probably given something else to compensate for it. 11? Okay, so 11 you'll be home. So ठीक है, I'll probably keep it around. I'll keep it in the afternoon anyway. अच्छा, बायो तो आप लोगों का ट्यूसडे को है, फिर क्या टेंशन है? ट्यूसडे को है ना, तो भाई ट्यूसडे को देखेंगे. मंडे को I'll schedule it. Monday को I'm going to schedule it कभी भी, ठीक है? Anyway, so that's it, fellas. See you, inshallah, in the next stream. Jate aate, as always, if you haven't liked the stream, please do that. And also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do that as well. That's it for today. I'll see you guys, inshallah, in the next stream. Take care.